But don't sit back on your laurels, right? Because you realize that the business cycle is getting shorter and shorter. You know, we're going to do something later, the SWOT analysis, right? And it's not just a SWOT analysis. It's an opportunity for us to actually sit back and say, are we still doing business the right way? And great, sales are kind of showing it, but beware. Times change. You know, back in 1976, FedEx did something incredible. They said, if you give me a parcel in New York, I'll have it in Johannesburg tomorrow morning. Today, is that a unique selling proposition? No. If you don't do overnight deliveries, you might as well not even be in the courier business, right? So you've got to keep innovating, you've got to keep changing. Back in the 50s, our grandparents had some amazing stuff. They could keep doing business the way they were doing business for 65 years, because that was the business cycle, and it would be okay. But times have changed. Due to technological changes, you know, if you look today, 70% of the jobs that exist today did not exist in 2006. And that is moving exponentially. Times are changing exponentially. The business cycle today is as short as 10 months. By 2020, that business cycle they predict could be as low as 6 months. So what is that saying? If you're still doing business the way you were doing business 6 months ago in 2020, it may be wrong. But the good news is the guys that are not watching. Remember Blockbusters? Anyone heard Blockbusters videos? Remember them? Where are they today? Guys, that was a $3 billion a year business. $3 billion. Yeah, but of course people don't consume movies anymore, right? No, they do. It's called Netflix, right? So in the same period that Blockbusters did this, gone. Netflix did this. And not only did they do that, but they actually now a $6 billion a year business. So they're twice the size of Blockbusters, and they're ostensibly doing the same thing. They're just doing it differently. And so that's why I say, great, you guys are fantastic. I love what you've done. But beware. Keep watching your environment. Keep looking at your customers, because guess what? We all say these things, and I hope it's not lip service. The customer's king. We love our customers. Customers dictate what we do. We care about our customers. But do we really care enough to, and listen to this word, integrate into their businesses? Guys, what you do is a perfect opportunity for you not to just become a vendor, where you're going to supply like a vendorship, but it's a golden opportunity for you guys to create a partnership. And partnerships are something that you build, that you create, where you actually get your customers to depend on you. You become an additional resource in their business. That way, achieving these kind of results becomes easy, because it's no longer a case of chasing after business. It's a case of being a partner, being part of the organization, and they depend on you so much they're not even going to go to your competitors, because there really is only one of you, and that's you. You're effectively the sellotape of what you do. And so when we look at that SWOT analysis later, guys, guess how often I expect you to do it? You're not going to like this, because you know salespeople, we're the ladies in the room. We hate this. Sorry girls, I'm going to use a very filthy, dirty 4-letter word right now. It's called work. Okay, guys, we know salespeople, we hate work, right? But the reality is, if you want to stay ahead of the competition today, you need to work a little. You need to be a little smarter. How much of the sale do you think depends on you? And how much of the sale do you think depends on your brand? Anyone want to venture an idea here? What do you think? What do you say?
More you.
Big time. You know, guys, I've heard numbers as high as 90% me and 10% my brand. But certainly a higher percentage is you.
People buy from people.
No question. But you see, guys, this is where you need to start answering the question. If most of the sales dependent on you, then you've got to wake up every single morning and you've got to be asking the question, what have I done today to integrate into my customers' businesses? What have I done today to make sure that my customers become dependent on me? Or more importantly, what have I done today to add value to my customers? When last did you do something remarkable? When last did you really sit down and say, how can I help you? Because how do you spell, anyone know how to spell sell? Trick question, right? Anyone know how to spell sell? Guys, it's H-E-L-P. And you've got to really be asking the question, how am I going to make sure that I sincerely help my customers? Quick question. How remarkable are you? Because now, remember, we spoke about this and we said most of the sale depends on you. How remarkable are you? Do you believe in yourself? Do you remember what Henry Ford said? He said, whether you think you can or think you can't, both ways you're right. So when you wake up in the morning and you go out to tackle your day, do you wake up going, this is in the bag, I'm well prepared, I've done everything I need to do, I'm ready to rock and roll today? Or do you wake up going, how? Guys, that's a serious, I mean, it sounds really simple and basic, isn't it? But there's a lot more to that. Whether you think you can or think you can't, both ways you're right. So do you wake up in the morning going, yes please, tackling another day? Or do you wake up in the morning doing my worst? And I know you are, right? I can see by your body language, you're going to look down at the table and you're going to look all embarrassed. And how many of you push the snooze button in the morning? Right? Beautiful thing, imagine, right? 5 years from now, pushing the snooze button is going to have done something remarkable. What? Nothing. Okay? Like zero. You're going to be stuck in the same place pushing the snooze button. But guess what else you're doing when you wake up in the morning and push the snooze button? You're actually giving your body an instruction. You're going, excuse me, just in case you weren't sure whether you should actually procrastinate today, just in case, hold on, you can. But whoa, I'm not only going to tell you once, I'm going to do it like 3 times. So I'm going to push that snooze button 3 times and I'm going to encourage you to procrastinate today. Or you wake up in the morning and it's what I call your activation energy. You wake up, you know exactly what you're going to do that day. You're ready to get out there. Your customers are king. You know how you're going to add value. You wake up, you get up, and you make it happen. What have you just told your body? Get out there and rock and roll, right? What else could you do by not pushing the snooze button? You could educate yourself, right? I hear that, educate myself. I finished school years ago. What am I still doing educating myself? You attract success by the person you become. As you become more, so you attract more, right? Think of your life, think of your knowledge, think of who you are as a half-full swimming pool. And I'm really sorry to say, but for the last 5 years, I've included someone. And he's just proved me right. His name is Justin Bieber. Okay? What just happened to Justin Bieber? He just cancelled the world tour. What happened to River Phoenix? What happened to Amy Winehouse, Elvis Presley? This was their swimming pool, right? And for a while, they could walk over to the side and they could splash water up like this in their half-full swimming pool, and they could pretend to be what they weren't. But what happens? We return to homeostasis. In other words, I could come to your home and I could tell you what you think your bank balance should be. I can tell you what you think your home should be like. I could tell you what you believe your spouse should be like. And you know how I can tell you all those things? It's what you have. You have what you believe you deserve. But one step further, you have what you've developed. In other words, wherever your level of your pool is, that's who you are. That's what your bank balance is. That's how you achieve your sales targets. That's who you are. So how do we put more water in the pool, guys? It's called education. But I don't have enough time to educate myself, right? Well, how about when you push the snooze button in the morning? Get up and read a book. That's going to change your life. You could only read like 5 pages in 10 minutes, right? How's that going to change your life? You see, success is not about doing a lot, a little. Success is about doing a little, a lot. In other words, wake up every morning, read 5 pages. Doesn't sound like much, right? But by the end of the year, you've read 1,825 pages of educational, transformational, inspirational books that are going to change your life, that are going to fill your swimming pool, that are going to make you more, that are going to help you to attract more success into your life. Average educational book, transformational book, 200 pages. Just by reading 10 minutes every single morning of your life, you could read 9 books. Let's explore something quickly. And I want you to introspect. Please don't answer these questions, okay? Introspect, but answer them in your mind. I want you to answer this. There was a book written recently by a guy, and what he did was he had a look and he compared poor people habits to rich people habits. And just ask yourself why you may be struggling. TV. How much TV do you think poor people watch every day? 4 to 5 hours. 45 hours. It's insane. Right? We're watching that idiot's lantern. Developmental, right? Rich people, less than 1 hour. How about that nasty thing called social media? How much time do you think poor people spend on social media? 4 to 5 hours. Right? So I'm hearing 9 hours a day we are consuming with rubbish. Guess how much time rich people spend on social media? None, unless they're marketing to the suckers that are there. Ooh, that's a scary thought, right? I'm just asking, where are you? And then, of course, we're coming down to books, education, right? How many books do you think rich people read a year? It's 60. Poor people? None. So imagine if you just take that 10 minutes where you were going to push the snooze button, and instead of pushing the snooze button, you read. You can read 9 books a year. You can fill your swimming pool. You can become more. And how about commuting? Guys, those of you that are on the road, you spend more time in your car than this. The average person spends 500 hours a year commuting. That's equivalent to 2 semesters at university. Can you imagine how you could transform your life if instead of listening to, and this is my rendition of music, right? That, instead of doing that, you rather listen to some kind of educational, transformational, inspirational CD. Imagine you arrive at a customer. Guys, we've got some audiobooks for you to listen to while you're driving around. I've brought some copies for you to get you started. Remember, what's the most important step in any journey? The first one. So let's take that step. Let's get other books. Let's get things that are going to help us to arrive at our customers with new ideas, new inspiration, new energy, new vibe. Imagine if you arrive at every single customer knowing that you're going to add so much value to them that if they don't choose your organization, they're actually going to be worse off than if they do. Can you ever be rejected then? You actually walk away from the customer shaking your head going, "Yo, I feel sorry for you. Not doing business with us means that you're getting an inferior product. Not doing business with us means that you're going to have more breakdowns, more challenges, more issues. You need to be doing business with us." So what you really do is, instead of feeling overwhelmed and rejected, like, what is wrong with me? You're rather thinking, wow, you are losing. Imagine how your energy and your headspace is different when you change the way you look at things. Because how do we change things? You know what we all talk about, right? I'm sure everyone in this room has spoken about changing our president. Oh, without a doubt. Really? Okay, go do it. Interest rates, we talk about those. They are. Petrol, price of petrol is ridiculous. The state of the economy. Go change any of that. We can't. We can change one thing. Us. We can change our attitude. We can change the way we look at things. Because when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I live just at the Allendale off-ramp. And I think you guys know we have a few traffic challenges there occasionally. Okay? But what compounds it is you're coming off the Allendale off-ramp, and as you're coming off, every single taxi, not one, not two, 200 are going up the yellow line, right? So I've really got two choices. Choice number one, beat my steering wheel, point out the finger. Now, I'm not sure. I think people call them number one, but they use a different finger, right? So, pointing number one. Anyway, and they get agitated and irritated, and vein pops out in their head. Choice number one. But you see, I can also make choice number two. It's the same event. Those guys are going to drive up there anyway. They probably don't even know that the vein's popping out in my head and I'm having a stress attack. Choice number two, I'll sit there and go, you know what? I now know that I should be educating myself. I'm filling my swimming pool. I'm making myself more. Therefore, I'm going to be attracting more success, more money, more everything into my life because you drove up the side there. You've given me another 5 minutes to listen to an educational, transformational piece of information. Thank you. Do you see it's the same event? So if I want things to change, I can't change the things, but I can change the way I look at them. You can arrive at a customer with a different attitude. You can arrive at a customer with a deep belief that I'm here to serve you. You can arrive at a customer with a deep-suited belief that you are here to make a difference. You can arrive at the customer knowing that if they don't do business with you and your organization, they're worse off. So if they say no, what are they actually saying? I haven't yet completely understood how your value proposition, the stuff you do, is going to help me change my business, make me more efficient, make me more effective, save me money, reduce my costs. And so what you really got to do is you haven't got to walk away there going, oh, what's wrong with me? You've actually got to go, how do I communicate more effectively? How do I get these people to know and understand how my value will actually serve them? And so guys, that's what I really want to head to now. Is I want to talk about you. Unfortunately, when we leave the nursing home, the nurse doesn't come up to mom and go, hey, mom, here's a user's manual. Please take this user's manual. This will tell you exactly how that amazing thing called the mind works. We kind of walk out of there and we wing it our whole lives, right? But the challenge is, even if we don't know how it works, it still does. And so what I want to share with you today is a couple of ideas. I want to unpack some of your incredible gifts that you actually have. You see, whether we know that we've got these gifts or we don't, both ways, they work. So I want us to do a quick exercise. I'd like us to have a look, watch the video. There's two basketball teams. One team's dressed in white, one team is dressed in black. What I want you to do is I want you to count how many times does the team in white catch the basketball. Not bounce it on the floor. It's an observation exercise. How many times does the team in white catch the basketball? Are we ready to go? There we go. Okay, who got 16? Who got 16? Anyone? No? 17? 17? 18? Who got more than 18? Guys, to be honest, I have absolutely no idea how many times they catch. Because that's not the point. What I really want to ask, and I'm saying a little prayer right now, that at least one person in the room saw something unusual. What did you see?
Gorilla.
A gorilla. Who didn't? Come on, be honest. Who didn't see the gorilla? Okay. Alright. Guys, what I just did is I used one of your remarkable gifts against you. What I actually said was, don't look at black. And your reticular activating system, your neural net of nerves at the base of your spine went, you don't see black. All you see is white. So what you were busy doing was you were counting how many times the team in white, and I'm going to show you the same video right now, a huge black gorilla walks out into the middle, doesn't just walk, he goes and walks off. Okay. I know, right? Let me show you. Watch here. Here he comes. Okay? And thank you for those of you who saw it. The worst is when there's a room where no one sees it, then they go, it's not the same video. So, thank you. Alrighty. There we go. Here he comes. Okay, so it's not, as you can see, guys, not a small gorilla, okay?
16.
Are you counting? I have no idea. Alright, cool, guys. So basically, what I'm busy trying to show you here is this. You see, we all hear how important it is to set goals. And we all hear how important it is to have a vision. And a lot of us sit back and we go, you know, those new ages, you know, I know I've heard about this stuff, but I'm not convinced, right? Well, let me show you why you need goals. Let me show you why you need a vision right now. Sitting in this room, I used your gift, your reticular activating system against you. And you didn't see black gorillas. Why? Because your mind was not programmed to look for black gorillas. Question: what if those black gorillas are the perfect opportunity for you and your organization to smash your sales target? But you haven't programmed your mind to look for them, right? You're not going to see them. So, by having a written down vision, by having written down goals that you don't just write on a piece of paper and leave it on a wall somewhere, but you revisit it every single morning. Every morning you wake up and you say, what am I going to do today to make sure that I do this? At lunchtime you ask yourself again, what have I done this morning to make sure I'm going to achieve my target? When you go to bed, you ask yourself, what did I do today to make sure I achieved that? What you're doing is you're programming your internal Google search engine to find the resources, the opportunity, the people, everything that you need to smash your sales target. So whether you know about this gift or not, It works, right? And you've seen it many times. All of a sudden, you decide you're going to buy yourself a Toyota Corolla. Until then, you have not seen Toyota Corollas on the road. You buy one. Everybody and their dog all of a sudden has got a Toyota Corolla, right? That's your RAS, your reticular activating system at work. Okay? So, how do we program it? Well, we've got two other remarkable gifts, guys. Your global positioning system. How does a GPS work? It's pretty simple. It triangulates and says, whoop, this is where I'm at. And then you tell it one thing. You say, that's where I want to go. And then it's got internal software and it does whatever it does and it says turn left, turn right, boof, and it takes you right there, right? You achieving your goals is no different. You need to figure out, where am I now? In other words, how full is my swimming pool? How educated am I? What education, what knowledge, skills do I need to get in order to achieve whatever I want to achieve? And then I use my ability to see. Do you know that we don't know about any aliens, but as far as we know, are definitely on this planet, there is no other insect, animal, plant that has a gift of imagination. And if I had to ask you, what purpose does your imagination serve? Well, we've got 5 major, we need shelter, and we need food, and we need self-actualization, etc. None of those 5 major things that we need needs an imagination. Do you know why you've got an imagination? One reason. One. So that you can stand here today and you can project yourself into the future and you can create a picture of possibility. What do I want in the future? And let me give you a really practical example of how that works, okay? Mount Grace. All of these incredible buildings that you see here, where did they start? They were a spark of electrical energy in somebody's mind, just like yours is right now. Is this building real? So what did they do to take a spark of electrical energy, which is exactly what your gift of imagination is, your picture of possibility in the future? What did they do to create this reality? Well, they built a plan. Somebody drew a blueprint, right? So somebody took this idea and they transformed it and they transferred it into a blueprint. Could that be called your goals? So somebody set a whole lot of goals. They wrote down a whole lot of steps that people needed to take to create this. So you need to create a whole lot of steps to help you to live your picture of possibility. What's another word for your picture of possibility in the future? Vision. It's your vision. Your vision is the direction that you need to travel in to become remarkable. And your third gift, it's your cognitive ability to create that plan, that blueprint that you need to take you from where you are today to that envisioned picture of possibility in the future. And as you create, you use your gift of imagination to imagine possibility in the future. When you do that, you program your Google search engine to identify the black gorillas, the opportunities that are right in front of you. When you go and you use your cognitive ability to build a plan, the blueprint that they used to create this building and all these magnificent buildings here is no different to the blueprint that you need to go and build to move you from where you are to where you want to go in the future. No different. And here we go back to that dirty 4-letter word that I spoke about earlier. Work. That one. Yeah, I did in the past once before I asked someone, and someone didn't use work. So I don't ask anymore. It can be a little embarrassing. But guys, ostensibly what I'm saying is, you have these 3 remarkable gifts. You have this gift of imagination that does one thing. It allows you to project into the future and say, what would I like to have, do, and be in the future? You pack a suitcase of everything that you think you'd like to get. You bring it back to today and you say, what do I actually want? And you figure out, if that's where I want to go, and this is where I am, the next step is, I use my cognitive ability and I build a blueprint that says, take this step, do this, do that. I want you to imagine the biggest tree that you've ever seen in your life. It's probably a baobab, or if you've been to California, you've probably seen those redwoods. It's a massive tree, right? If every single day I woke up and I took a sharpened axe, note I didn't say axe, I said a sharpened axe, and I walked out and every single day I just chopped that tree 5 times, could I eventually make that tree fall down?
Eventually. Yeah, eventually.
I mean, how long's a piece of string? It'll happen, right? But you see, here's the difference. You see, this is why I need to be very, very careful here. Very often I hear people say, sales is about activity. No, it's not. It's about the right activity. Because imagine, I mean, you guys are a lot of technical guys, some sales engineers here and stuff. You guys, maybe not, you'll probably know this. No, you probably don't. I'm talking age-related issues now. No, age-related, okay? Back in the good old days, right? We never used to go, I mean, now you smash your car, they go to Volkswagen and then they send them a panel, right? In the good old days, they used to panel beat. They used to take a round-headed, what these called a ball-peen hammer, and they used to beat the panels out and make them pretty again, right? Now imagine, I take this round-headed hammer. You're 50 meters away. I walk out to my big baobab tree, and I hit it 5 times every day. I mean, it looks the same. At 50 meters, you're going to say, well, I watched the other guy. He did that every day 5 times, and his tree fell down. Surely Andrew's tree is going to fall down. He's doing the same thing. He's taking action, right? What's going to be the result? One tree is going to fall down, and the other one is going to get a huge hole in it. Okay? But it is not going to fall down. So here's the trick. And here's some advice. Those, how many top cars did you have that are over 100%? 11! Okay. Those 11 guys, I'm about to get you some incredible lunches, right? What I would recommend, if I was new and I was starting out here, I would be taking those guys to lunch. And I would be saying, tell me about your sharpened axe. What action are you taking every single day that is allowing you to smash your targets? Because when I can do the same thing, right? Can I be sexist right now and say you're a bad cook? Is that true? But okay, no, that's fine. So I'm choosing the right person, right? Okay, now imagine if I... Sorry, what's your name? Stuart. Imagine if I said to Stuart, here's a recipe for a chocolate chip cookie. Here's all the ingredients for chocolate chip cookies, and here's an oven, right? Read the recipe and bake me a chocolate chip cookie. Okay, let's be kind. It may look like a chocolate chip cookie. It's possible it could smell like one, and it may even taste like one the first time, right? But by the 50th time, he's going to be baking a pretty decent chocolate chip cookie, right? Why? He had a recipe. Well, let's just think about that quickly. There's 11 guys here, and girls, or is it, what doesn't it? Let's not ask that question. I'm not going to go, that's a dangerous slippery slope, I'm not going to go down there. If you could figure out what their daily recipe for success is, and you could follow it. Of course, you're not going to bake the success they're baking. You're going to bake a terrible chocolate chip cookie to start. But in 6 months' time, what's your chocolate chip cookie going to be like? What is your daily set of habits going to be like? What is your ability to hold that sharpened axe? In other words, right now you might be hitting the tree 3 times with a ball peen hammer and twice with a sharpened axe. But by following the example of those top performers, you'll eventually be 3 sharpened axes, 4 sharpened axes, 5 sharpened axes, and you know what? Eventually you are going to be achieving the results that those people are achieving. They're not cleverer, prettier, smarter, nothing than you. They just have better work habits than you. If I was new in this organization, I would be taking those guys out to lunch. I would be asking those guys, what do you do on a daily basis, and how can I learn to do the same? The recipe, guys. They obviously have a recipe that works. Quick one. Do they have the same admin challenges? Because we hate admin, come on. Which salesperson likes doing admin? We hate it, right? So they got the same. They got the same products. They got similar customers with similar needs. Do you think their recipe, if you took it and adapted it and worked it the way that it would work for you, could make massive changes in your results? I know it can. Guys, I've seen it happen in many organizations. Learn from the people that are doing it right. Learn from the people that are doing it remarkably. And it's not very long, and you will be remarkable too. So go use your gifts. Go turn your gifts into the remarkable person you are. Do you know who doesn't believe that you're remarkable? No, it's not your mother. It's you. It's that you know that lady that looks, and I'm gonna say lady, I say that with all due respect over here, okay, that looks at herself doing the makeup and the guy shaving in the morning. That's the one who doubts you. You are remarkable. You have, just like I said, when your mother left the nursing home, they didn't give her a manual and say, okay, by the way, you have a reticular activating system. You need to set goals. And in fact, at school, they didn't even teach us to do this stuff. But now you know. So go do a little bit of work. Go and figure out what the guys that are getting it right are doing and do it. Go and find those black gorillas that are in your area. You're driving past them every day. I promise you there are opportunities in all of your areas that you're driving past. Why? Because you haven't programmed your reticular activating system to find them. So talking about recipe, guys, what I did a couple of years ago, I decided super achievers, right? We're talking the likes of Dr. John DeMartini, Bob Proctor, real top performers. They must be doing something right. They've got daily routines and habits that help them to do really big stuff every day. And so I asked the question, well, if they're doing it right, what can I do to go and figure out what their recipe for success is so that I can go and bake a chocolate chip cookie just like theirs, okay? And so what I did was I started interviewing these guys. And I was very lucky. It was quite easy at first. I used to have a radio station on, a radio thingy on Mix FM. And it's amazing when you phone people, they're available. They're happy to be interviewed, right? And then my best thing I ever did was I got a TV show called Empower Half Hour on Soweto TV. Okay, it wasn't a great, Soweto TV, I don't think you guys even knew there was Soweto TV, okay? But it was a great platform and a great opportunity for me to get to meet remarkable people and to interview these remarkable people and to ask them some fundamental questions like, what is your recipe for success? What is it that you do that I don't? Because if I can start doing what you do on a daily basis, I can become successful like you. Anyway, so far I've interviewed about 101 of these super achievers, and it's been quite interesting to see what their recipe for success actually is. And based on that, I created what I refer to as my wealth plan. Why do you think I call it a wealth plan? Guys, I've tried it both ways. So we hear all these wonderful words, life is not all about money. No, it's not. But you could have a wealth of health. You can have a wealth of great relationships. You can have a wealth of success, a wealth of money. So that's why I use the word wealth. It's not just related to money, but to be honest, it's a lot easier to suffer in a Maserati than a Beetle, right? lot easier. Okay? So, the first question that I asked all these guys was, remember I said to you, we have this powerful, this amazing gift called our gift of imagination, which allows us to stand here today and project into the future, create a picture of possibility. Another word for a picture of possibility, vision, right? So we can create a vision. So I started off asking these guys, tell me about your vision. And you know what was so remarkable? When these guys told me the story about what they saw themselves having, doing, and being in the future, you'd sit on the edge of your seat, you'd go, wow, I want to be part of that. And guess what? They got it. And here's my challenge, guys. When we have a break at lunch, ask each other this simple question. What is your vision for the future? When you ask these remarkable people that have planned and they've built this picture, they can tell you the story about what they want in the future. When you ask them, their eyes go up to the right. They're excited. They're looking into the future because they've been there. They've used their gift of imagination. They've been in the future. They've created that picture of what they want in the future. When you ask your colleagues if they have not done this work, if they have not figured out what they want in the future, their eyes are going to dart down to the left. Because that's where we go when we are trying to figure stuff out. When you're building your vision, that's where your eyes will go. But once you've built your vision and you've got this incredible story, your eyes go the other way. Ask each other. And I'm telling you, you're going to do it and you're going to try your best. You're going to do it. Your eyes are going to dart to the right, okay? You see, not having a vision is a vision. Just a very poor one. Because you're going to get what you wanted, which is what? Nothing. Now think about it, okay? I get to my driveway in the morning. Do I go right? Do I go left? Do I go straight? Or do I just go straight back to bed? Because what's the point of today? Because I have no idea what I've got to do. But you see, these guys, these super achievers, now listen to who they are. Super achievers. They're not smarter than you. They're not prettier, more handsome. They're just more focused. Just like your super achievers, just like your top performers in your organization, right? Just like they have a recipe for success, these super achievers have a recipe for success too. And it starts off with them having a passionate, a perfect picture of possibility in the future of what they really want to achieve. And then they get there. You see, by having a vision, not only are you giving yourself direction, not only are you arriving at where you need to be every single day, not only do you know exactly what action you need to take, but you're energized, you're inspired. You see, no matter who you are, some of what you do is not going to be great. Think about, people, Oprah Winfrey, we look at Oprah Winfrey in front of the camera and we go, Wow, she's so lucky. Look at her, she just sits and she talks. But you see, that's Oprah Winfrey's what? Front office, right? But we're comparing Oprah Winfrey's front office to our back office. Has anybody ever wondered what Oprah Winfrey's back office is like? It's about work, it's about grinding, it's about understanding, it's about preparing. Not a pretty place to be. But her front office is so remarkable. So here's my challenge. Stop comparing your back office to other people's front office. Everybody does something they don't like. Guys, I love what I do every day. I absolutely love what I do. But see, this is my front office. I'm in my front office right now. You didn't see my back office yesterday. You didn't see me preparing for this. My back office is also not a pretty place. But my front office might be spectacular. So think about, are you prepared to grind? Are you prepared to do the stuff that is hard? Grant Cardone is one of the most aggressive salespeople out there. He's amazing in his own way. And he basically says, the great salespeople are great because they're prepared to do what other people aren't. And here's my question. Are you prepared to do what other people aren't? Are you prepared to get up on a Sunday morning and go and help a customer with a breakdown? Are you prepared to go the extra mile? Are you prepared to amaze your customers? Because until you're prepared to be amazing, you're just average. Until you're prepared to go the extra mile, you're never going to be remarkable. You have to seriously, as a salesperson, ask yourself the question, am I prepared to do what other salespeople are not prepared to do? Am I prepared to work that hard? Am I prepared to put in that much energy? Because until you do, you're stuck. So here's my challenge. I'd like you guys, at lunchtime, when's the right time to start? What's the most important step in any journey? The first one, right? So let's take that first step at lunchtime. Here's my challenge. I'd like you to use your gift of imagination, right? And I'd like you to sit for a moment, for a while, and just say, what do I want to have, do, and be in the future? Create your picture of possibility in the future of what you want to have, do, and be. Get started on your vision. Write your vision down. Put it on a card. Put it in your pocket. And 3-4 times a day, pull that card out your pocket and ask yourself this question. What have I done today to make this real? You see, the quality of your life, the quality of your sales, the quality of everything that goes on in your experience is directly proportional to the quality of your questions. You see, before you go to a customer, your questions have got to be, how can I close the sale? How can I blow this customer away? How can I add such incredible value to this customer that they can't say no? And if they do say no, I mustn't go, what's wrong with me? Why am I so stupid? We all do that, right? Now think about it. Do you remember writing an exam when you were in school? Those of us that can remember that far back, right? Remember writing an exam? You wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, you go, oh man, I knew that answer. Why didn't I write it in an exam today? We all did that. Well, how about this? Why am I so stupid? Your brain is going to wake you up at 2 in the morning and go, Andrew, I've been pondering that point all day. Do you want the 5 major reasons or the 23 minor reasons why you're such a nincompoop? And you can see how developmental that is, right? Or you could rather ask, same mistake, remember a taxi driver, finger out the window, or taxi driver, thank you. And you could rather say, what can I learn from that mistake? Now imagine your brain wakes up at 2 in the morning and goes, you know, Andrew, you know that mistake you made today? What I'd recommend is don't do this in the future. Can you see how developmental that is? You see how positive that is? That's going to help you to grow. So let's look and let's ensure that we're asking the right questions. Because the quality of your sales is directly proportional to the quality of your questions. So learn to ask better questions. I want to expand your vision, right? So we're going to have a vision which we're going to look at 3-4 times a day, and we're going to say, what have I done to achieve this? Then we've got to go and we've got to say, okay, so hang on. The vision is Mount Grace. So what do I have to do to make Mount Grace real and tangible? Well, to get started, I've got to build a blueprint. So by expanding my vision, what I'm actually saying is, what is my blueprint for success? What are my goals going to be? You see, goals are big things. Let me give you an example of what I'm trying to say. Let's say I've got a backyard and there's a massive tree in my backyard and it's blocking out the sun. So I sit there and my vision is I want to have the sun shine in on my veranda. But there's this big tree in the way, right? So my goal is remove the tree. Vision, get the sun in. Goal, remove the tree. Yo, that's a big tree, it's a baobab, right? And if I'm only going to chop that thing 5 times a day, it's going to take me a very long time for that vision to be realized, okay? So what do I need to do? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. One bite at a time. You're eventually going to eat an elephant, right? Same thing. Now we've got this huge, massive goal, which could be your sales target, right? At the beginning of the year, you look at that thing and you go, yeah, that's hard. But what if I break it back into something that's achievable? What if I break it back into something that becomes realistic for me to achieve in the short term? And I call it a project. You see, a project is a lot smaller. It's that whole tree. So I'm now going to say, what if I cut off the top 10 branches? I look at that, I go, I could do that in a Saturday afternoon. I could take off those top 10 branches. Project. Then I go, hang on a second. Okay, so the project, in order to achieve the project, I've got to do something, which is take the right action. What is the right action? Well, let's go to the garage, get the saw, put the ladder against the tree, climb up the tree, cut the branches, remove the branches, right? No different to your sales target. So you take this huge, intangible thing, which is my annual sales target, and I break it back into projects. I break those projects back into daily activities. If I take daily activities, in other words, I get up the tree and I cut those top 10 branches off this Saturday. Next Saturday, I chop those 10 off. I chop the middle of all. Eventually, might take me a year, but eventually I have achieved my vision, which is the sun is shining in on my veranda. And all I did was I created smaller projects that were realistic. I created daily activities and behaviors. I did those things. And I realized my vision. I want to quickly ask you a question. What do you think makes a goal realistic? I say what makes a goal realistic is if it's believable. Let me give you an example. Imagine on the way here, just in Magaliesburg, there was a little guy standing on the side of the road with a board saying, please help me. And I rolled down the window. I mean, this guy's got, 3.5 months left in the year. It's a lot. And I said to him, Bud, we've heard about this goal setting thing. I'd like you to set yourself a goal. And what I want you to do is I want you to earn R1 million by the end of the year. What do you think he would have said to me? Probably would have started with some swearing and get lost, okay? But how about if I had Richard Branson's phone number? And I know he's had his island just destroyed and stuff, so his cash flow is under pressure. But that's I digress here. But imagine if I phoned him and I said to him, Richard, how about, oh, you're sitting down. You set yourself a goal of achieving R1 million by the end of the year. What would you have said to me? You probably would have gone, while you were dialing my number, I earned R1 million, okay? You see, goals become realistic when you believe they're possible. So when you look at your goals, you've got to ask yourself, do I believe it's possible? You know, when you ask all of these super achievers, and I mean some of them have got remarkable visions, guys, stuff like scary, scary stuff. And you say to them, do you think it's possible? Do you know what they did, every one of them? That was it. Well, why would I have it if I couldn't achieve it, right? And the same's got to be true for you. You've got to look at your goal right up front in the year, and you've actually got to go, really? Is that all you can give me, Norman? Bring it on, buddy. Seriously. You have got to believe it's possible, because if you don't, it's not. And that's what makes a goal realistic, is do I believe it's possible? Because if you believe it, you can achieve it. Okay? And that's where we're going to number 3. You have to believe your goals are possible. Because until you believe they are, they're not. Back in 1954, scientists are clever dudes, right? They know stuff. And these scientists looked at the human body and they did all sorts of tests, and they took muscle fibers and they looked at humans and they said, guys, sorry, but it is physically impossible for a human being to run under 4 minutes for the mile. And they gave us all these scientific reasons like ATP and oxygenation and a whole lot of nonsense, right? And then someone did, Roger Bannister, right? And within 6 weeks, 22 people genetically changed, and they too ran a sub 4 minute mile. What changed? Belief. Right now, there's a goal. There's something out there, right? And believe it or not, you'd think scientists would have woken up by now, okay? When they made this mistake back then, you'd think they'd know better. But there's scientists out there that are saying the sub 2 hour marathon is not possible. Because it is physically impossible for a human being to sustain 21.1 kilometers per hour for 2 hours. It just can't be possible because, again, we haven't got enough slow twitch muscle fiber. Okay, let's not go there, right? They've got all the scientific papers to prove it, right? And then what? There's going to be a Ugandan, a Nigerian, or an Ethiopian, right? They know they're going to smash this thing. They're going to go 159, and guess what's going to happen? Within 6 weeks, 22 people will genetically morph, and they too will run a sub 2 hour marathon. What has changed? Belief. So here, I can't stress enough. If you don't believe your sales target is possible, it's not. So what you've really got to do is when you look at your sales target, you've got to ask different questions, because remember, the quality of your sales is directly proportional to the quality of your questions. And if you think your sales target is too harsh, you've got to ask better questions. What do I need to do differently? How can I use my reticular activating system to find more of those black gorillas so that I can smash my sales target? If you want things to change, you need to change. You need to believe your sales target is possible. Because the moment you change that, everything else changes too. Remember what I said about your swimming pool? You see, learning is not just something you do at school or you do at university. Learning is something you need to do for the rest of your life. You need to constantly be looking at ways to fill that swimming pool. You need to be constantly looking at ways at growing, expanding, becoming more, because that is how you're going to become better. You see, let's have a look at absolute belief. What is going to make us believe in ourselves? You see, with competence comes confidence. With confidence comes belief. How much time are you guys investing into growing yourselves every day? When last did you read an educational book? When last did you listen to an educational, transformational CD or audio book in your car? When last did you attend a seminar to make you better? Because you see, if you're not going to look at growing, if you're not going to look at expanding, the business cycle, as I said, is getting shorter and shorter. So if you're not growing, you're actually going backwards. If you're not growing, you're actually becoming less, because technology is changing. Over 70% of the jobs that exist today did not exist in 2006. Things are exponentially changing. Do you know that the computing power of a space shuttle in 1985 is equivalent to an iPhone 4? An iPhone 4. We're now on an iPhone 10. Do you see how things are changing? And that's just technology. People are changing. The internet is changing. Go and have a look at retail stores, okay? Santon City used to have a 6-month waiting list for stores. Today, there's about 15 empty shops in Santon City. Times are changing. People are changing. The way we do things are changing. Your customers are changing. You've got to adapt with them. You've got to change with them. You've got to realize you've got to keep learning. You've got to keep expanding. You've got to keep becoming more, because if you don't, you're actually going backwards. Guys, I say lifelong learning for a reason. You see, we need to take some time out of entertaining. We're champions. No, we're champions, right? At educating ourselves. No. Entertaining ourselves to death. No, we're great. Remember, 5 hours of TV, 5 hours of social media, and that's not even talking about all the other rubbish that we do in between, right? You know, we get to work. That cup of coffee first. Shooting the breeze with our friends. Productive time. We've got to stop wasting time, and we've got to start investing into ourselves. It's called your EVE ratio. Education versus entertainment. And what they say, the average person entertains themselves for 500 hours per 1 hour of education. Here's my challenge. I'm not saying become a boring recluse that just educates yourself, but I'm saying just up it a bit. Look at improving. Instead of every 500 hours for 1 hour of education, how about every 50 hours of entertainment per 1 hour of education? 10 times more education means 10 times more success, means 10 times more growth, means you're 10 times more likely not to miss opportunities in your market. You're 10 times more likely to be recognized by your customers. You're 10 times more likely to identify solutions and opportunities. You're 10 times more likely to build partnerships with your customers. And it all comes back to learning. You need to commit to your growth, your ongoing growth. And remember what I'm saying here, guys. This is a recipe that came from super achievers. Do you know what was so remarkable? While I was busy asking these guys, while I was busy picking their brains about how amazing and remarkable they were learning from me. Every one of them said, please send the results of your research to me. I'd like to read it. I'd like to learn from it. Growth and expansion, 60 books a year. Rich people, right? Poor people, no. The reason why. Guys, this was an interesting one. All of these super achievers, you see, We all think that superachievers don't experience challenges. We all think that it just goes really, really smooth. It's all smooth sailing for superachievers. The reality is they experience challenges too. The reality is they need to wake up every day, and remember, they've also got a back office. They've got to do the stuff that is not pleasant. We see their front office. We see Richard Branson taking off in a hot air balloon. We don't see Richard Branson at the office. They've also got a back office. They also need to wake up sometimes, and they also need to inspire themselves. They need to light that fire of inspiration in their belly to get up and get going. So do you. They're no different. So how do they do it? Well, they create something bigger than themselves. Let me give you an example, right? Imagine, guys, I've got a plank like this big, all right? Now, if I stuck it on the floor here and I said to you, okay, who is prepared to come and walk over this plank? I'll give you 1,000 rand. Anyone in the room going to say, hell no? But what if I said to you guys, I'm going to take that same plank and I'm going to suspend it between the Petronas Towers, 88 stories high in Kuala Lumpur. Now for 1,000 rand. You going to go? Hell no. Okay, there's some adrenaline junkies would try. For me, hell no. Okay? What if I said to you that I would take you a bet? That you wouldn't cross that plank once, but you'd cross it twice for free. Anyone want to take the wager? Imagine, I'm on top of one of the towers. On the other tower is my child. The building's on fire. The flames are licking at my child's feet. Would you run across that plank and go and fetch your child?
Yes.
Hell yes. Listen to the mother. Only one. Oh, yeah, I'm there. Okay? You know, I like your thinking. That's why you've got a wife, right? Listen, darling, she's burning. Would you mind? What changed, guys? What is the difference? What is the reason that I would run across that plank, not once, twice, to go and rescue my child? The only thing that changed was my reason why. So here's my challenge to you. Go and find a powerful reason why you need to achieve your sales target. Go and find a powerful reason. Now, what reason could you possibly have? Well, look at your life. And I call it your stretch target, right? What I'd like you to do is I'd like to look at your life and I'd like you to say, okay, so that's the lifestyle I want to have, do, and be. What do I need in order to do that? Then go and take that action. Look at your life and paint a picture of what do you want for your family? What do you want for yourself? In other words, what do you want to have, do, and be, and what's it going to take to get you there? Create a powerful reason why. Every one of these super achievers had, and I mean, okay, they'd gone to very high levels, and a lot of them were about legacy. A lot of them were about significance. A lot of them, that was their reason why. My question to you is, what is your reason why? What is that single thing that is going to get you up in the morning? And remember, in your back office, what's going to get you up in your back office and get you to take the action that you need to take to achieve the remarkable results that you want? What's going to inspire you to success? What is going to make you do the tough stuff? What is going to make you grind every day? Because not everything we do is remarkable. Not everything we do is fun. I mean, some of you probably ride long distances between customers. That's not romantic. That's hard. That's work, right? What's going to inspire you to drive long distances? What's going to inspire you to get in front of customers that are going to say no? What is going to inspire you to become successful? What's going to inspire you to do what you need to do? In other words, what is going to inspire you to take the actions that those 11 super achievers take every day? Every day. That is your reason why. Go find your reason why. Go find that something that lights that fire in your belly every day and you're going to get up and you're going to take the action you need to take. In other words, you're going to chop that tree with that sharpened axe 5 times every day. What is going to drive you to do that? And the final one is your habits. Remember what I said to you about habits? Those 11 super achievers have remarkable habits. Now question, you driving along, you drive to a familiar place and you arrive there and you go, how'd I get you? How often has that happened? That's your habits at work, right? Do you remember that first day when you learned to drive your car? It was jerking, it was all over. You had to think about the gears, you had to think about the steering. Man, the other day I saw a lady driving onto the highway near Bedford Centre. She was smoking a cigarette, doing her makeup and speaking on the phone. That's your habits at work, guys. Okay, she couldn't have done that on the first day she was learning to drive. What are your habits? You see, this is the question you want to be asking yourself right now. What are your habits helping you to do? Or what are your habits stopping you from doing every day? Because you see, procrastination is a habit, right? Guys, let me tell you something. Probably about 10 years ago, I was so good at procrastinating. I was so good, I didn't even know. I was fooling myself that I was procrastinating, right? I was going to write a book on procrastination, guys, that good at it. Go and have a look at what those top performers are doing. And keep performing those activities until they become the way you do stuff. Because think about it, if you are on autopilot, right? In other words, you wake up every day and you do what those super achievers do on autopilot. In other words, you arrive at the end of your day and you go, how did I get to 3 closed sales today? Autopilot, right? I did all the things that I needed to do without thinking about it. I developed the most powerful sales success habits. And where did I learn those sales success habits from? Well, from the 11 top performers in the organization that have those remarkable sales success habits. Quick question. How do you develop a habit? That's it. It's not hard, okay? But what's the hard part?
Right every time.
Getting it right, but doing it every time, right? Because what happens? We have something in our heads, right? Who has ever said, and maybe there's one person in the room, I know I haven't, you set a New Year's resolution, right? And you've achieved it. Anyone? Oh, you know what it's like, the gym. You're sitting there, it's like midnight, and you set yourself this goal, and I am going to get healthy this year. And you go to gym on the 2nd, and you like queue. There's 2 kilometers of cars on the way to the gym. And eventually, by the time you get there, the car guard's got you parked. You go into the gym, you stand in a queue. It's 30 people deep. You actually don't even get to the machine, but thank God you had to walk 2.5 k's to your car, so you got some exercise, right? But you go back on the 15th. You drive and you park at the door. You walk in and there's no one there. Yeah. What happened? It's called willpower, right? So we all have incredible good intentions. So we have great intentions that we're going to go and spend some time. We're going to buy some lunches for these super achievers in our organization. We're going to learn from them. And then what happens? No willpower. Okay? So, as you said, habits, and this is scientifically proven, right? NASA actually did this for us. Thank goodness for NASA. Back in the 50s, middle 50s, we wanted to send astronauts into space. But unfortunately, we didn't have any way to create weightlessness on Earth. Well, we didn't know about the vomit comet then, right? No, you just dive the plane. We didn't know about that. So the only thing that they could do was they said, hang on a second, what about if we put convex lenses on these poor astronauts? So they took these 60 aspiring astronauts and they put convex lenses on them, which basically turned up, down, and down, up. Guys, it was terrible. These poor guys, their spatial perception changed. They got motion sickness. Their blood pressure went up. Their cortisol levels went through the roof. It was a hectic experiment for these poor guys. But something remarkable happened after 26 days. The first astronaut's world turned the right way up, and they went, oh, that's an anomaly. after 42 days, every single one of those astronauts' worlds had inverted. In other words, they had completely rewired their brain. I.e., you can teach an old dog new tricks. Right? And what that revealed to us was something remarkable called neuroplasticity. In other words, you can learn a habit. They then went and did some huge experiments, and they looked at it and they said, okay, if you're going to learn a habit, as you said, you need to repeat something, the same thing, at the same time, every single day for 66 days. And now, it is an entrenched sales success habit. So you want to go and learn what your super achievers are doing, and you want to go and how can I remind myself to do the same thing at the same time every single day? It's called a smartphone, right? It's called an alarm. Remind yourself to do those things, and as long as you do it for 66 days, eventually you're going to do those things on autopilot, because you can't rely on willpower. Willpower is a depletable resource. They actually did some experiments, right? They took a group of 30 students, 15 students in one room, 15 students in the other room, and the setup was the same. Rhubarb sweet biscuits, rhubarb sweet biscuits. The only thing that was different was the instructions. One room they said, eat whatever you want. Who's going to eat rhubarb, right? So they ate sweet biscuits. The other room they said, you may only eat rhubarb. Yes, these poor students sweated and they ate this stuff for 2 hours. 2 hours later, they took these guys into an exam room and they gave them an exam that was impossible to solve. The group who'd used their willpower, in other words, had eaten the rhubarb, lasted 25% as long as the group who had not used their willpower. So willpower is a deplete. We know it, we see it every day, right? Good intentions. So if you're going to learn, and you're really going to make a difference, and you're going to take the benefit that you're going to get from the guys that are super achievers, set alarms, make sure that you take those actions every day, and 66 days later, you will be performing just the same as those super achievers, but you'll be doing it on autopilot. Quick one. Write your vision down. Expand your vision. In other words, set goals. Break them back into projects. Turn them into daily activities. Absolute belief. Guys, you need to believe your sales target is possible. And if you don't believe it's possible, you've got to say, what do I need to do? What education do I need? What support do I need so that it becomes totally believable to me? You need to commit to lifelong learning. You need to be 100% sure that you are going to be constantly filling that swimming pool up, because you attract success by the person you become. As you become more, you attract more. Biggie, the reason why. What is your burning child on top of the building? What is that passionate reason that's going to get you up every single day and is going to help you do the tough stuff? Because not everything about your job is fantastic. Not everything is like walking through a bed of roses every day. There's grinding, there's work, there's tough stuff to be done. Your reason why is going to inspire you to greatness. Your reason why is going to get you up, and it's going to get you doing what you need to do. And then finally, your habits. You need to find out what the right activities are, and then over time, you need to have some way of reminding yourself to perform those activities every single day, consistently for 66 days, and eventually, you have an entrenched sales success habit set. And quickly before I wrap up, remember your gifts. When I say to you guys, I want you to have a vision for the future. When I say to you guys, you need to build a blueprint for success. You need to build a blueprint for success for each customer. Oh, that's work. No, you need to. Because if you're really going to build a partnership, if you're really going to show you care, It takes work because you see, you got to do what your competitors are not prepared to do. They're not prepared to build a plan. You are. You see, that is what's going to make the difference. That is what's going to set you up for success. And when you have a vision or a picture of possibility in the future, which you've created using your gift of imagination, and you've built a blueprint, in other words, you've got a plan that's going to take you to get there, or is going to guide you, give you direction, you're going to program the most remarkable gift that you have, which is called your RAS, or your reticular activating system. And that reticular activating system, or internal Google search engine, is going to find all the black gorillas in your area. Is going to find all those hidden opportunities that you may be missing. This building, it's here, right? It's tangible. It's real. All this was a spark, a thought in somebody's mind. Right now, whatever your vision is, whatever your goal is, whatever 50% of your sales target is, right? Because you're halfway through the year. Whatever that is it any different? It's just a spark of electrical energy. How do you make it real and tangible? Well, you do exactly what they did. Build a blueprint. Take action. The right action, right? And your dreams will become real too. You are remarkable. You are the majority of the sale, guys. Remember we said it earlier, more than 50% is you. And you are remarkable. Why not you? Why can't you achieve the success that you deserve? Why can't you be as remarkable as those 11 top achievers? You are remarkable. You are outstanding. Now just go do it. Does anybody have any questions? Guys, here's some homework. You really think you'd have some, right? The homework's about you. I want you to go and I want you to build your own wealth plan. I want you to start at lunchtime thinking about your vision. I want you to write that vision down. I want you to expand your vision. I want you to build a blueprint that's going to help you to achieve the results that you need. I want you to start believing in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, go to the next step and say, what is my commitment to lifelong learning so that I can improve my competence, so that I become more confident, so that I believe in myself? What's your reason why? What's your burning child on top of the building that's going to get you up every morning and going to get you to take the action that you need to be taking to become successful? And how are you going to develop those habits? Well, it's a commitment, right? Think of yourself as a house in the middle of a grassy field. Leading away from that home are deep rutted brown pathways, right? Those are your habits. As long as you keep walking on those deep rutted brown pathways, they'll never go away. So I've got to wake up every single morning. I've got to find out from those 11 super achievers what is their recipe for success. In other words, I need to walk on a different pathway every single day. And 66 days later, those brown pathways will have grown over and I will have developed new pathways. Those new pathways are my new sales success habit set. Believe in yourself. Because when you believe it, you will most certainly achieve it. Well done, guys. Excellent. Any questions before we go, though? Nothing? You're all good. Okay, guys, we've left you with some audiobooks. I really, really want you to get started. But don't just listen to those audiobooks. Do you know that if you go onto Amazon, there are free audiobooks. So don't tell me too expensive. There's some for 99 cents. But as Jim Rohn said, it's not the $30 you may pay for the book. But it's the $500,000 that you may lose because you never found what was in the book. What if it is just an apple a day, guys? But you don't eat the apple. What if it is just reading a book? What if it is just listening to audiobooks? What if it is just believing in yourself? But you don't. You see, you've got no more excuses now, because now you guys are aware. Let's go do it.